and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Greetings and salutations, this is Christopher Daniels. I'm talking to my main man Delzinski right now. Any video game show, any video game channel, any YouTube channel called Vintage Shizzle is indeed hashtag Daniels approved.
Yo, alright guys, Delzinski here. Welcome to another We Talk Weekend. And as per usual, I am joined by my partner in crime, Smack Talks. How are you doing, mate?
Alright man, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very good. It's been a bit of a stressful week, but I finally recovered and I'm ready for the weekend of wrestling that we have got ahead because there's quite a lot going on. I wouldn't say I'm hugely excited by all of it, but nevertheless, there is a lot of wrestling to talk about.
I bet you're excited for next week though.
I'm excited for next week. Definitely excited for Monday. Monday is going to be the best day because, yeah, if you don't know, you probably already know already. I'm going to a Q&A and possibly as well a meet and greet with the icon Sting. Yeah.
You're going to ask all the big questions, the ones that you complain people don't ask.
If I get an opportunity to ask a question, but I mean, you know, maybe once I ask my first one, then I won't be able to ask anymore.
What's your first question?
I don't know, I've got to think about it yet. Got to think of a good question. Well,
I thought you'd have these planned. You've been talking about Sting for months and months and how he's been wronged by the WWE. You want to get to the bottom of it? That investigative journalism that you keep talking about.
Yeah, but it's not like for me to ask those sort of questions at this event. You know,
what?
I'm just going as a fan.
Oh man, that's a cop-out, that is.
Not really.
You complain about all these others not asking the questions. You get an opportunity yourself and you don't go through with it.
Taking the Bobby Heenan route, trying to just back out like the weasel.
What a letdown.
Either way, I'm really excited about it. It should be really, really good. You know, it's going to be fantastic. If you haven't heard about the event already, then, you know, check my channel. I will leave a link to a video in the description box below, which tells you all about the Sting meet and greet, which is being hosted by Inside the Ropes. So you can go and still purchase, I think, general admission tickets at the moment. I don't think any of the VIP ones are on sale still. But yeah, if you do want to go, there's still opportunities. London, Manchester, and Glasgow, I think, are the three places as well. So yeah, make sure you do, if you fancy seeing Sting in the UK, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Should be amazing.
I hope so. I think it's going to be fully painted up as well, which is even more cool.
Oh, that'll be cool if he wears the paint.
Yeah, I was thinking about this though. I was thinking if he's got the paint for the entire Q&A, that would be irritating, wouldn't it? If you're Sting.
I don't know. I'd say he's used to it now. But if he's doing like meet and greets and like photos, you want him with a face paint. Yeah,
so I'm thinking for the meet and greet, he'll do the face paint, and then maybe it'll come off later on.
It might just like wear off during the night.
That's what I mean. It's like, you know, if he's got it on for that period of time, by the time he's finished all his meet and greets and stuff, he won't have any paint left.
Yeah, it's realistic though. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I am really excited about it. So that's coming up Monday. But you know, over this weekend, we've got quite a lot to talk about of what's happened from last week. Whether or not we actually like it or not is a different kettle of fish completely. But you know, let's just give you a rundown of what we're going to talk about today on We Talk. We're going to be talking about Lesnar versus Big Show at MSG. You know, so is that something really that's that exciting? I'd kind of question that, but you know, that's on the cards today. Kane versus Seth Rollins, which is even more exciting. You know, brilliant stuff there. Then we're going to talk about Bound for Glory, which is kind of interesting because there's been a few changes to the match card. And Smack Talks this week took his research really seriously and watched every single moment of TNA that he possibly could. So he knows all the ins and outs of TNA. You've almost become Mike Tenay in one day.
Wow, I don't know how to take that. I always do my research. I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. 60 Seconds.
Let's be honest. Sometimes you have to just go for the 60 seconds. Sometimes that's all it takes.
I wish I knew there was a 60-second option. I would watch TNA every single week religiously. People are missing out.
I would say you could call me the 60-second man, but that would lead to things that don't really need to be talked about, so we just don't need to go there.
Well, we can brush over that for now.
Exactly. Let's just get that out of the way right away. Then we're going to talk about a bit more kind of TNA WWE clash, because this is like Clash of the Titans. This is like revisiting, the Monday Night Wars, because are we seeing the reemergence of a battle between, two rival wrestling companies? Rival, maybe that's pushing it a bit far, to be honest with you. But, Finn Balor took a picture outside of TNA headquarters with the crotch chop, and Grado replied with one back with a WWE one. I'm not sure if Grado's was legit, but nevertheless, it made pretty entertaining talk on Twitter last night. And I was kind of amazed at the sheer amount of people, the way they responded to it. So we're going to mention that as well. And there's a few bits to cover from NXT. So, quite a busy show. And kind of saying quite a busy show, let's talk about the big show, because going towards Madison Square Garden tonight, New York City, we have Brock Lesnar versus the Big Show again. Are you excited about this? Is it something that you're looking forward to, with the fact that we haven't even seen Brock Lesnar on TV to pretty much promote this event?
Absolutely. How can you not be? This is the beast, remember? Every time he comes back, it's special. Unless they're wearing that out.
Well, lots of people have kind of said, what's the point of seeing this? Like, what's the point, WWE, of seeing a match that we've seen before? We saw Brock Lesnar squash Kofi Kingston in Japan, but we'd never seen that before. And I think everybody kind of raised their eyebrows just a little bit when we did find out it was going to be Kofi Lesnar. It was almost like, really? But when we saw the match, and when I watched the match, I was kind of entertained by it. Kofi running around the ring trying to play scared, and it added a different dimension to Brock Lesnar. But this really doesn't. And I think that the only reason why you'd want to see this is because you're just going for the spectacle of Brock Lesnar F5 in the Big Show. And that is it. Is there anything else to this match, really? Is there any other reason? How can the Big Show bill himself as a credible opponent for Brock Lesnar after all the garbage that we've seen with the Big Show? And let me just mention, he was the Big Show baby once.
He was indeed, yeah. I don't know. I think you'll be crying again by the end of this match. It's. I actually feel kind of sorry for the Big Show, because when you think of like how Lesnar is in the ring now with the suplexes, Big Show being a big guy taking all these suplexes, if that's the route that they go down, this is going to hurt him quite a bit.
He's going to really have a rough night, to be honest with you. And it's kind of questionable why WWE would put him in this position, because we've said this before with The Undertaker. Undertaker's no spring chicken, and now we've got, the Big Show stepping in there with Brock, and he's not exactly the most mobile guy that we'd expect to be put in the ring with Lesnar. Now he's going to have to take, X amount of German suplexes, which I'm just going to see him struggle with, and then he's going to get hit with an F5. And the Big Show, being that size, being that weight, taking that F5 is just awkward in itself. It looks kind of good. It's really good to see, but it's not good for the Big Show.
Definitely not good for the Big Show. How many suplexes do you think we'll see?
I don't think we'll see nearly as many as what we've seen in the past. I'd probably look for about 6.
I was going to say 6. I think I'm with you on that. I'll go 7. But I think it'll be a case of like the first one he struggles with. Like you'll go to suplex him and Big Show will be like, I don't think so, mate. And then after that, when he finally breaks it in, I think we'll see a couple there that'll weigh him down. And then like the big F5, like you say, just that feat of power to kind of end the match. It's not going to be good for the Big Show.
I think it'd be interesting to hear if the We Talkers have got a prediction on how many German suplexes we're going to see. So let us know by the comment section below how many German suplexes you think Brock Lesnar is going to hit the Big Show with at this Madison Square Garden special attraction for the Beast. So you're not saying that there's any chance of Big Show winning this match?
I wouldn't think so. I think when we're seeing the Kofi match, that kind of like told you what they've got planned for this one. It's going to go exactly the same way. It's going to end up being a squash match in the end. Is there much else actually planned for the show?
I don't know. I don't really think it's been made a huge deal, to be honest with you. It's just the trouble is like you say, they are playing off of the special attraction bit, and you are going to watch it because Brock Lesnar's around. But in general, it's not a match that really, whets your appetite. It's not something that you think, yes, I've been waiting for this sort of match for such a long period of time. It just doesn't have that because it's the Big Show. And we all know that the Big Show's persona, the way he's flip-flopped between heel and babyface for like years. As I said, biggest run, best run, Big Show baby. Enough said.
Yeah, instantly forgettable. We did mention though, like they do have a bit of a history. Like we've had a couple of matches with them, and like they're all building it as like rivalry renewed. So we had like this ring break on SmackDown back in 2003. We had Big Show beating Lesnar for the undisputed title with Heyman in his corner. And then last year at the Rumble, we had the Big Show getting totally annihilated by Brock Lesnar with that chair, where it left a load of damage when you actually looked at Big Show's back. It was like pouring of blood.
But that's the point, isn't it? Like, in previous, a long time ago, Big Show was able to put up a fight because of like his age and stuff. Whereas as he's got further on, anytime he's encountered Lesnar, Lesnar's been pretty, no nonsense and got the job done. So, it doesn't vote well, and this isn't really a big step up from destroying a Mark Henry.
It's not really. I was surprised they destroyed Henry as quick as they did, but I guess that's what you kind of need going into this match because of the way that Big Show's been over the last couple of years. But at the end of the day, if he hits that knockout punch, it's going to be game over.
I think he might hit him with it and he'll just get up. I think he'll knock him out.
Just totally no sell it. Go the Eva Marie route.
Possibly. And I think that the trouble as well with this match is Lesnar hasn't really been around to build it. Like, have they had a proper stare down?
They haven't, but thinking back, we didn't get that with Kofi either. Like, it's all been Heyman, and Heyman, he does a good job of selling it. I mean, I'm quite interested in it just to see, mainly for the suplexes, but I'm interested to see it. I think it's done a good well at selling it, and all these adverts, it is the Go to Hell tour, so this really kicks it off.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's just been. It was kind of shocking when they did announce that Go to Hell tour because I didn't really see that coming, particularly for the Undertaker match at Hell in a Cell. But we've got it, so.
Well, I was just surprised when the first aid, the package, I think was done on the pay-per-view, and it says the Big Show takes on Brock Lesnar or whatever at Madison Square Garden. Then he goes one-on-one with the Rattlesnake, and I was like, what? That's the match I want to see.
I think that's categorically been ruled out now, that match, for any point in time.
We'll have to see how this podcast goes with Austin, because I think it's something that there's a definite market there for. I think Stone Cold just doesn't want to do it, though.
Well, he said, again, he came out a couple of weeks ago and said no. So he said, I think someone said to him, what was the animosity towards Heyman? He said, I was just cutting a promo. That's what it was.
I want to see how this podcast actually goes, though, because it could actually lead to it. It all depends on how it goes. And I don't know if Heyman will be there, but it'll be interesting to see Brock one-on-one with Stone Cold and how he handles it.
It'd be awesome if he F5'd him through the podcast table.
I think you're getting your hopes up there.
Why? That would be the best build ever, wouldn't it?
It would, but I can't see it happen. This is Austin's show. You'll stunner him through it.
I guess I'll just have to wait for that one then. I don't know. It will be probably good to watch this special on the WWE Network, but it's not a match that excites me. It's because it's the Big Show. That's the problem. And it's much like most things, WWE focusing on these guys that we're not really too fussed about anymore. I did watch, actually, interestingly enough, I watched an interview with The Undertaker when he was out of character. This is from a really long time ago. I think it was for a WrestleMania. And I think it was being the American Badass at the time. And they asked, it's the guy, I can't remember his name, but it's the guy that embarrassed, or didn't embarrass, but he kind of got in CM Punk's case when CM Punk just left the WWE, gave him some really awkward questions. But he said to Undertaker, because they apparently at the time they saw him as a person to look up to in the locker room, a go-to guy for the younger talent. And he said, what sort of guys that are currently there at the moment? This, I think, was a time when the NWO had just arrived in the WWE. And they said, what guy kind of annoys you? And he said that, I think he said it was the Big Show that got on his nerves because he knew the Big Show had this size and this power and stuff. And then, Undertaker would step in the ring with him and he was out of shape and he wouldn't be able to go for a period of time. And he said it used to piss him off because he knew the Big Show could do so much more, but just didn't have the dedication to do it. So I found it really interesting because over the years, the Big Show's become one of those one of those sort of, go-to guys who they go to to stick in the ring when they need someone. So it's interesting how times have changed. And from the Undertaker's perspective back then, of Big Show not always being, fully up for it or wanting to do the right things for the business, has changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Was that like 2003-4 when the NWO come in?
Think so, yeah. So this was at a time where Big Show really should have been flying and wanting to do his absolute best, because that was a good point for him for his career, I think.
It was but I think that's like just before the Big Show baby, so it went completely the wrong way. But when you think of Undertaker, like you worked with like the Big Show like through 1999, 2000, teaming up and things. So it's. I don't know. It's not something that I really noticed in the ring. I thought like Big Show like done a good job at the time. I thought he was on top of his game. But it's interesting like hear the Undertaker say that, and it's something that I can understand, especially in the later years of the Big Show.
Well, the best bit about the interview was just the fact that Taker wasn't in character, so he's just really kind of just normal. It's a bit weird in a way to see him speak out of character, because we definitely don't get that much anymore. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was kind of an interesting way to see things from the Undertaker, because he's a very quiet person, doesn't always mention an awful lot, to be honest with you. So yeah,
so that's how he feels about the Big Show. I want to know his thoughts on Eva.
Cool. I don't know if he'd even waste his time talking about that subject, but we will approach that shortly. And speaking of, guys like the Big Show who are go-to guys for the WWE when they need somebody to help them or need someone to, I guess to fill a void, then another guy, which is currently, very current, is Kane. And what did you think of the ambulance segment with Seth Rollins on Raw? Was it good?
Well, hang on. Have we confirmed that this is Kane yet? Because the billing this is the Demon.
Yeah.
We've got current Kane, and then we've also got the Demon, because we had a match on SmackDown with Kane at ringside, and the Demon was booked for that match. But unfortunately, Kane got injured thanks to Seth Rollins and had to go backstage. Luckily, though, the Demon then showed up for the match. So it was good he was there.
Oh, I hate all this split personality thing, that they don't know what's what. Come off it. It's terrible. It's terrible stuff.
Did you not enjoy Ashley, like, from Human Resources coming in, just to make sure, like, Kane's sound of mind to complete the job?
But the thing is, like, even the clip, like, the segment on Raw, like, for me, was just damn awkward. Like, when he's trying to go for the pedigree, shuffling around, it just epitomizes everything that I don't like about this version of Kane at the moment. And people were, like, saying to me, oh, well, I love Kane. It's like, yeah, liked Kane back in the day when he actually was a monster. Not any much anymore.
Well, see, that's completely different, and I'll give you the line in a minute. But I found Kane like really funny at the same time. It was an awful angle, like the ambulance thing was awful. But when you have like Kane coming out with lines like saying hello to Ashley and then walking off with her, saying how much like he loves the Bellas, would you like to meet them? They're great on Total Divas. And the fact of just thinking Kane sits there watching Total Divas, he's gone from being the monster. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, but I always go back to the side of would Undertaker do any of this stuff?
Well, I'm sure he watches Total Divas. Michelle, have him watching it?
I hate it. I genuinely think they've like just made him into like this laughing stock, and it doesn't work for me.
What I'll say is the angle is awful, like the split personality thing. But at the same time, you're kind of getting that Monster Kane back. So maybe this is like his road to redemption. Because on SmackDown, not only did the Demon show up and actually like take out Seth and the New Day, then once the match was over, not only did he take out them, but he turned on his partners as well and took out the Dudley Boys. So like this is like the Demon Kane that we've kind of all wanted to see return. Who he doesn't team up with anyone; he just takes everyone out because he's the monster. So like it's getting him back on track. He's just hurt so much; it's going to take a long time to get there, and we're going to have to sit through all these awful segments that we're getting every single week now.
But are you enjoying like the stuff with the mask as well? Because I don't like the mask.
You just don't like the mask.
I can't take it seriously. I can't take this guy seriously until he changes his look again. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too painful for me to acknowledge that this is meant to be a monster. It's not. He's got the freaking hair all tied in, which looks terrible. The mask is just shit. Let's be honest. Come on. We got to change him. We've got to give him a new mask. Why didn't they give him a new mask coming back at Night of Champions? Why?
I say I'm really struggling with this. I don't know if they're actually ever going to do it now, because they had the perfect opportunity when like the Authority had the mask for him to return with a new one. So now they've stuck with it. It's like they kind of committed to it. I don't know if they're going to change it. You might have to get used to it.
But it's terrible though. It's like all right, when he got out the ambulance, right? So let's say he's supposed to be a monster, right? And so say obviously the ambulance door burst open with the smoke and the red, and I'm like, oh no, he's got changed into his demon outfit again, and his mask looks like he's rushed to put it on because it don't look right again. And then like he's got out and he's like trying to milk that he's hurt because obviously he is, concessions Kane as well.
There's no evidence to support that just yet.
And he gets out and he's like limping, and then all of a sudden he stamps his leg, and then I'm the demon, here I come. And it's like, no, just if he's going to open the door and he's going to be angry and aggressive, just make it look like he can't be hurt. And that
maybe he just had like some cramp and he just needed to like stretch it out, so he stamped it.
But like, why can't he just get out of the ambulance and be like, because he turns into the monster, turns into the demon, that pain is just not a threshold for him. He's just like, he's coming and why couldn't he have just marched out of that ambulance door with a purpose? Why did he have to do the stupid little cell with the leg?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? You should have just like walked out there and like been all powerful. Like it doesn't hurt me. Like I'm the demon. Yeah. Like it would have worked so much better. It was kind of awkward seeing that. Like aside from that, like I was going to say I kind of liked it, but the whole ambulance thing was annoying. I just like the fact that we got like this demon version of Kane, like coming out there and no selling the injury. But the fact that he sold it first, it took away from it.
Well, that's what, yeah, because it all did the little play on the thing of, is it him? Isn't it him? It was all buried in that moment because he got beaten up, Just,
well, that's the thing. Why say like, is it Kane? Is it not Kane? And then have him like do that, and it's like, well, must be Kane, although it's not proven.
Yeah, and it just annoys me, and I really can't. Like I say, I sit there and I try and think this is quite good, and I'll be honest with you, it would be good if they'd given him a new mask. Like I'm telling you now, when he's lifting that belt, there is no possible way that I want him to win this belt at all. I do not want him anywhere near the World Championship because I just can't take him damn well seriously enough to even acknowledge Kane having another title reign. That is just a no-go. No-go.
Well, would you be happy then if he showed up with like a present for Seth this week in a big red box, which turned out to be a severed head of Seth's statue? So would you be happy if he turned up with another present next week and it had the demon mask in there? And he was like, look, Seth, I've got this for you. It's not me. There's the mask. You don't have to worry about any of this.
See,
and then
you've done it. He
turns up in the classic mask or a new, better mask. We'll go a classic one because you probably won't be happy with the new one.
Yeah, probably. No, that's it. See, you've done it. You fixed the issue. You fixed the issue there. If he does that, if he gives Seth the mask and says, look, you keep the mask because I want you to believe that, it's not me, yeah? And then all of a sudden, then he can go and get go old school, or he can go and create himself a new mask. That would be a good thing. When people disappear and they come back, if you want it to go over bang, you give them a bit of a new look. That's usually how it works, but not Kane. But if you do that, then you've rescued this scenario that I don't like.
There we go. That's all we need. Get creative on the line. We've sorted it. I've sorted it. I know what I'm doing.
Do people...
Like I said before, when you smack talks, you find a way.
You find a way. And the question to the Wee Talkers is, do you like the Kane look at the moment? Are you happy with the look? of Kane, the Demon. I mean, I can't get over it. I'd prefer him to have the mask without the hair as well.
Well, at least when it comes to like video games this year, you'll have plenty of options of Kane because we've got loads of confirmations this week, all classic versions as well.
Yeah, we'd only use the classic versions. Can't be using the one that we've got. Well, the thing is though, it's not. Let's just review this a little bit more. It's not all about the look, but it is the problem because that mask resembles so many crappy moments for Kane. That's why I hate it. That mask reminds me of him coming back and me actually thinking this is going to be awesome. He does look good originally, and I was thinking, oh yes, he's come to take Cena down, make Cena embrace the hate, and that's what he was built to do. And then came in and he lost to Cena. That was the first bit. That was the first downfall. And then that mask represents things like stupid funny segments with Daniel Bryan, which were funny, but not for a demon. And that's why that mask to me represents the demon's failure.
Well, which one would you go with? Like, because you say it represents these moments. Would the second mask that he had, like Ruthless Aggression era, is that not probably his like most monstrous time?
Yeah, but he paired with like RVD around that period, didn't he, as well?
He did, but like in terms of like booking, that was like probably like one of his stronger points. Because like the original mask had like the great moment when he debuted and things, but then you had like, does Kane have a heart? Can Kane speak? With X-Pac, all these little things.
The voice box.
Yeah.
Right.
So it takes you back to that, doesn't it? You kind of have that original mask without the voice box. See if they turned up with the original mask and used the voice box, people wouldn't have known if it was the real Kane or not.
That's why you've got to get a new one. How difficult is it to ask creative to create a new mask? Come on.
I think like that's now what I want to see. I want to see like Kane say, look, Seth, it's not me. He has the mask. And then this new demon version comes up with a classic mask and a voice box. And Seth's like, hang on, maybe this isn't Kane? It doesn't sound like Kane.
What happened to the other mask as well that he wore when he first came back with this version? He used to wear that metal one as well. Where's that gone?
The Weldon mask.
Yeah, where's that gone?
That didn't last very long, did it?
Just lost it?
Yeah, he's just misplaced that.
It's everything about it, Smack Talks. It's everything.
Everything. But it's not, it's just the mask.
No, yeah, but it's the entire attire as well. It's even that annoying whatever it is he's wearing at the moment, the singlet thing that he's got. It's just no. The older attires were much better with the stripy bit and the little bits, But
he's getting old now. He likes to like keep himself
cover up a bit more.
Wait, no, he likes to keep a bit cooler. Looking like Ric Flair.
Oh, that's fine. That's the Nature Boy. He's been wearing that, macking that shit for years. That's fine. I don't mind Nate just floating around in his pants. It's fine.
He needs to put something on.
Nature Boy. No, he likes to take it all off.
See, that's my issue.
I mean, yeah, we talkers, man. You got to tell us about Kane's attires. What do you think of him? I mean, what if you were going to bring him back for this current run? Would you have him in the attire that he's got now with the mask, or would you have gone retro, or would you have gone to the future and come up with something? I want to get your views on it because I cannot take the current version seriously enough. I think I've made that perfectly clear by now.
They need to go back to the future and give him like a retro new mask.
Well, like a combination of all of them.
Like a classic version, but like updated a little tiny bit.
Anything will do, to be honest with you. I don't really mind.
Just keep the voice box, that's all I want.
It was funny though. I always used to think of South Park when he had that voice box thing. I don't know why. Just used to make me think of South Park.
He could have been on there, he could have been a character. Be awesome.
He could be a character on there now with his
We've got a new season.
Anyway, overall, has it made you any more into the Seth Rollins Kane feud? Are you feeling it? Are you thinking, yeah, this is actually going to be really good? Can't wait for Hell in a Cell because it's going to be epic, or are you just thinking, meh?
I'm thinking this is quite awful storyline, but at the same time, I quite enjoy it. Just watching Seth get annoyed, surely you've got to enjoy that at least.
It's good, but he's been annoyed for quite a long time. He's been annoyed since his damn title reign began.
Poor guy. He's so frustrated. He's like you on Twitter.
He is. He is actually. You know, sometimes you have to vent.
You do, and like poor Seth, like having to put up with all this. I just think it's amazing. Like the way he reacts to it, like the reaction he gets from the crowd as well. I think that's awesome. I think that's one of the best parts about this angle.
For Seth Rollins, it's good. Like I say, I still would like to see him be a bit more of a credible, like forceful champion. But I think what's happened with Seth is he's a bit of a crybaby outside of matches, but when he steps up in the ring, he actually gets the job done. So I think that's the way that they're just going to sell it moving forward.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's not even like the main event at the minute. Like we've got like this Undertaker Lesnar thing coming for Hell in a Cell, and even on Raw, he was like upstaged by like Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, who main evented the show.
He's not the big guy, is he? He's not the big credible champion.
Right, it's like when like people like CM Punk won the title the first time, like the World Championship, and Dolph Ziggler, like they had the title, but they weren't like the man.
I still feel that this feud wasn't necessary. I still think they had plenty of options at Night of Champions, and they really did go for the worst one.
They did, and like the whole like thing of us like talking about Triple H and Seth, I think again you could see like seeds for that this week, because when like they mentioned like the anonymous email that had been sent complaining about Kane that brought in like human resources, the way that Triple H looked at Seth when he come in and he was saying, I can't believe like someone would go down this route and be so spineless and not want to show the face and send this anonymous email. Like Triple H just looked at him as though he was like quite annoyed. I think that like sets more kind of seeds in the sort of roots for a future match between them. But I think it's something that we should have got instead of this Kane stuff.
What I find entertaining is that the thing that got HR involved is this. After all the years of the WWE, we find out that they've actually got a HR department to air grievances. Over the years, how many? I mean, that department must have been, absolutely abused with queries over the years.
Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of them have been like towards Vince McMahon as well.
I was going to say, 90% of them, they must have a whole case file full of Vince McMahon ones over the years.
It's kind of like a specialist team.
And they still haven't managed to nail him down just yet. So,
Not guilty.
He's never guilty. So, yeah, I'm not sold, but we still got some time yet to kind of turn me round. And the only way they're going to do that is if they get Kane a new mask. So... we'll see.
We'll have to keep our fingers crossed.
So let's move on. Let's move from WWE away and let's move to TNA, because TNA have got a big pay-per-view this weekend. They have got Bound for Glory.
Does it feel like a big pay-per-view though?
No, not really. It should do, because I mean, until like the last few days, the main event for me was shaping up to be a good one. Ethan Carter versus Drew Galloway for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Ethan Carter billed as being, undefeated, a bit of a master as it comes to being a heel. He's played the role perfectly. And then on the other side, we've got Drew Galloway, who's kind of stood up for the TNA locker room. He fought through the GFW invasion angle. He backed up Dixie Carter when EC3 didn't want to even know. And I thought the way that these two could collide would be perfect. And I wrote a little blog about that. If you want to check my blog, check link in the description box below. I'm going to kind of do regular blogs about current storylines. And if you guys respond to those blogs, then I'll mention your comments on We Talk as well, because I think they're kind of tied to current day topics. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I think that this was the perfect start for a feud that could be TNA's Rock Austin or TNA's, Bret Hart Michaels. This is what the two that I would have liked to have seen do that, because Drew Galloway, I've seen, wrestle in the UK. I think he's a great wrestler. He likes to be hard hitting. He's good quite technically as well. Ethan Carter is learning his trade still, but he's done a fantastic job as being a champion. And I would love them to have been in starting from Bound for Glory, a consistent feud all the way through next year, and it really become that focus piece for TNA. But then it had to be for me a singles match. That's what I was looking forward to seeing. A good wrestling match with no fudgy finishes, no dodgy stuff, and a pinfall win. If Galloway defeats Ethan Carter, it's massive. It's like his first defeat. If EC3 goes on and gets lucky, maybe like a sneaky roll-up or something like that, then you've got Galloway chasing the champion. It just built to something that could be really good. And now, obviously we had Jeff Hardy in the mix, with Jeff being, his personal assistant, whatever it is. And then Jeff Hardy got announced as a special guest referee. Still didn't have too much of a problem, because I'm expecting at some point Hardy to do the dirty on EC3. And then we had Matt Hardy added to the equation. And he's actually in the match. And that, for me, was kind of like, no. I like Matt Hardy, but I didn't think this was the time to do it. I thought this was the moment for those two guys to just have a great match. And EC3 was on JR's podcast, and he was backing that up. And now I think JR will probably be surprised they've changed the main event. So, I'm surprised, I'm shocked, and I think that has kind of put a bit of a downer on this Bound for Glory pay-per-view for me.
Absolutely. I think what you said there, it's something that had to be a singles match between the two of them to like really get this over as like the big feud of TNA. It's something that they could really, really focus on. And I think it'd be like a good focal point for the company. And I don't know if it'd go the lengths of like Rock and Austin, but I'm sure like they could like take it down that same kind of route and have these two like constantly doing battle, not just like in the short term, but long term, even over like the next couple of years, and something that they can always revisit. Because like if Galloway becomes the first guy to beat him, then that's always going to like be there, and it's not going to sit well with EC3. However, at the same time, I can understand why they're putting Hardy in there and bringing in Jeff as the special guest referee. Because if you think of like TNA and all the problems that are having like filling arenas and things, you want Bound for Glory filled. And being that this is taking place in Raleigh, North Carolina, the only reason I see them putting them in the main event is because it's Hardy country. So you're bound to get people in there just because the Hardy Boys on that card. Not just on the card, but Matt is in the world title picture. And as far as like things go, you would expect Jeff being the referee, he's going to help his brother win the title, surely. And at the same time, regardless of who Jeff does sort of screw over here, it means that EC3 is not losing clean. So he's gone all this time with this undefeated streak. The person that breaks it, if it's done in a fudgy way, then EC3 can still kind of cling to that and say like he's not being beaten clean. It always had to like come down to someone else interfering in the match or a referee. So I get where they're going with it. It makes sense storyline wise to me. And especially for like ticket sales and people actually buying the pay-per-view, attending, I can kind of make sense of it.
It does make sense. And I mentioned that as well on my blog. I said I can see why they're doing that, considering, how much these two guys do sell, Matt and Jeff. But I just think my trouble is with it is do I want to see Matt Hardy as TNA World Champ when you've got a guy like EC3 doing so well with it? And I think that, this was the moment. It's the biggest pay-per-view of the year. And what you wanted to come out of it was you wanted to be able to say EC3 and Drew Galloway just put on one of the best matches we've seen this year, regardless of WWE. If they could do that, how much credibility that would put some eyes on it. But what actually could happen now is all that people are going to be talking about is the Hardys. And the other thing as well is if Matt wins the belt, there's not a lot of places to go. I don't think that's even an option or a route to go down. I think it's got to be between Galloway and EC3. My biggest concern is because TNA are going down this route, is we're going to get another ridiculous finish. And I remember them doing this at Lockdown, where it was like a simple job a few years back to just let Samoa Joe beat Magnus. I think it was at Lockdown in the cage, and they just needed. It was a good match, and it was a really enjoying the pay-per-view. And I remember it being like a breaking point of where I was like, this is a massive pay-per-view for TNA. If they do it right, they're on the ball, and they'd been consistently doing well with it at the time with the product. And this match was going so well, and then they freaking, they spoiled it. They had Abyss come out from under the ring, and they took the route that I thought was ridiculous. And it was back to square one again for TNA to start over and try and rebuild credibility. And I think with this, I could imagine them going for like an ultimate swerve of like, Jeff hitting Matt or or Matt maybe even just siding with EC3, and I'm just thinking to myself, all of these outcomes are like, nah, I just wanted a good match. Why can't they just give me that good match that I want and me be happy and watch it? And yeah, I get the ticket sale bit, but I don't know. I remember when Austin Aries won the World Championship, everybody was like, all eyes on that. They were like, TNA have got it right. They're giving the belt to a guy like Austin Aries. And then they booked Aries terribly. I mean, they haven't done that with Galloway. They've got a good chance if they wanted to switch the belt over and then have a rivalry. I know it'll never be Austin Rock, but it could be something that they could really work off of for the next year. And if they've added Hardy to the mix, it's like, well, no, you're not going to be able to work off that straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I think being TNA, it's something that they always tend to do. It's like they kind of go with a simple finish a lot of the time. They feel they have to do something else. And I think that might be like what we're sort of leading into this time. And if Jeff was to actually like side with EC3 and allow him to sort of pin Matt and screw him over, it kind of is the alternate to what we got I think it was the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago, where Matt screwed Jeff out of the title against Edge. So it's kind of the opposite to that. I could see them maybe going down that route. But yeah, I think adding Hardy to the mix, it kind of loses Galloway a little bit. He kind of gets lost in the mix.
And he shouldn't be. He should be like, up there after all the effort that he did with the GFW stuff. And all I've wanted to see is EC3 and Galloway really getting intense and kind of, the feud building, the blood boiling between these two, that it potentially is a strong rivalry here. And it's not getting that way for me because we've always got the issues of the Hardys or someone around that's gonna take my eye off it. And whenever you have the Hardys in the mix, it's always about the Hardys. And it's not because of them, it's not their fault, but that's just the way it is with wrestling. Hardy fans are like Hardy fans. That's what they are like. They just 100% obsessed with the Hardys. And that's not a problem, but it is a problem when there's other things to notice and those things get lost every single time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worrying for me because, again, it's a step up, don't get me wrong. It's a step up from last year. I said this as well in my blog. Last year we had it, I think it was Tokyo last year, and we had EC3 face the Japanese Rikishi. So, I mean, that last year was just a massive joke for Bound for Glory. It was terrible.
But even this year, though, it's not like the most amazing card. A lot of this has been thrown together. And like one of my complaints was, we've said this before, like, the pay-per-view and the specials and then Destination America having like Impact Wrestling, a lot of the matches are out of place and you've got things airing on Impact that should really be on a special. And I thought this week we're seeing sort of the end of the revolution take place at like Impact instead of Bound for Glory. Why not just hold off another week and do that there? Because we're seeing like James Storm come out and had his match with Mahalabi Shira. So
you can call him Shira.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what his name is. But like we had Abyss and Manic come out and it looked as though they were going to like continue to side with Storm, but then they turned on him. And it was like, well, why didn't you just keep this for like Bound for Glory? Because this is something that's been going for months. Surely you want your payoff at like the biggest event.
Can you do the Shira Shake, or whatever it's called?
I haven't tried. It hasn't quite got round to us just yet.
Oh, it hasn't taken off yet, but it's.
Have you been doing it?
It's sweeping the globe. It's it's a thing. It's worldwide. This is Dixie Carter keeps telling us it.
Well, I seen it get tweeted out by Impact, and it got a whole 13 retweets.
You know what I mean? It's this is another guy that's come across, and he's looking like he could be alright, and they're just giving him this dodgy gimmick again.
Well, I think it's just a case of like you need like someone like that to sell tickets if they're like to like open up an audience in like India and things. Like you always get people where they bring in like people for a certain region, they'll promote that person just to kind of sell tickets, and I feel that's kind of where they're going with this. I
heard as well. I don't know if this is more of a spoiler. In my 60 seconds, it wasn't included, but.
See, you missed out. You should have watched 2 bloody hours worth.
Did something happen to Manic?
No.
No removal of mask.
Oh, he didn't have his mask on.
So
is that new? I didn't see it last week, so I don't know if he took it off.
So I mean, it's funny because Manic did tweet out something like, because obviously it's meant to be like a shock that he doesn't wear the mask, but Manic was like, a few years back they removed his mask before, and he was like, I think it was something along the lines of TNA logic, booking logic, ? Like actually taking a dig at the booking team for forgetting storylines.
Mm.
And he just says it all. If talent are going to do that, then, if they've not got any faith in your booking skills, then who has?
I don't think actually the commentators mentioned the fact he didn't have the mask on. Like, I didn't pick up on it, so they mustn't have made it out to be a big deal or anything.
The thing is, when you look at that Revolution, that little run that James Storm had, I think James Storm's parted ways with them now to a degree, but that run was really good that James Storm had. But when it, again, opportunities missed, like Abyss, you could really go back and hammer home the monster gimmick. What is wrong with building a monster with these companies these days? You've got to get it right. You can't. What did they do with him? Joseph Park, awful stuff. I don't understand this. When you get these monsters, how good was Abyss when he first came along with James Mitchell and stuff? I was screaming out for them to go when Abyss went away to find himself, was to get James Mitchell back and let him bring him back to the old version. Instead, we've got this I don't know, well, it's just a cheap version of Kane now, isn't it? So I just can't believe these things. I can't understand how difficult it is to build a monster.
Well, the thing is, we can watch Braun Strowman now coming through as a monster with Bray Wyatt,
and
how that's going to completely change over the next couple of years, and he'll go the same route as well.
I hope don't say that.
He will. It's inevitable. He doesn't even have he has got a sheep mask. I guess he can keep going back to that.
I'm waiting for the time when they just finally do turn the Wyatts into the oddities. Remember them?
They're kind of there, the way with the masks and things. Get Kurgan in.
What was it? It was Insane Clown Posse that did the song for that, didn't they?
Yeah.
You remember that? That was good, that was.
Had the South Park t-shirt and everything.
Yeah. Oh, and Earthquake was one of them, wasn't he? Kurgan, remember that? Luna Vachon was there, I think, as well. I think I've got them all.
Legends, man, legends.
See, so when the Wyatts finally do that, you can come back to We Talk and you can be like, they called it.
You call this. You can have all the credit for that.
But that's the problem. It's like, why can't they just settle and think to themselves, look, we are never going to make this guy funny, or we're never going to abuse his character. We're just going to always keep him as a consistent heel, and as a monster, a destructive force. If he gets beaten in a way that still never damages him. Why can't they just focus on that? Why can't they just say to themselves to keep it that way?
I think it's just so hard when you've got a monster to book someone as a monster over so many years. It's something you kind of need to take time off from. But the only way you can kind of keep it credible is if you take that person off TV for a lengthy period of time and just keep them fresh that way.
But remember when they did it with The Undertaker, when they finally destroyed The Undertaker with Yokozuna? How good was that?
Right, that's kind of what you need. It's like the
Rusev thing. That's when you do it. That's when you take someone down. It's when you finish. That's like that for me was they put a stop to The Undertaker. That's how you put a stop to a monster. You have to. Everybody has to work to do this, and then he comes back again. Boom. I don't understand this. Don't give him split personalities and all that bullshit. Fuck off.
I mean, it works if you take someone out of time. Out for a lengthy period of time. That's exactly what Rusev needed. If he took that defeat from Cena, gone off TV for ages, and then come back and made an impact against someone else, that would have worked a lot better than all this crap with Ziggler.
Exactly. I wish I had an Iron Sheik button here where we could just do the bullshit. Just hit that fucking bullshit. That's what we need.
An Iron Sheik button?
Yeah, we do. We need a Sheik button on We Talk. So anytime we find some bullshit, we can just hit that button and it just comes through.
Be pressing it quite a lot.
Probably would.
Is there much of that left in the TNA card? Can you say any more rubbish matches? Anything good? Well, a lot of it has been thrown together. I know we've got a gauntlet match for a future title shot, and I noticed that Tyrus is in that. So if he wins, maybe you could give that to EC3 if he does lose.
Tyrus. Loving Tyrus, though. He just doesn't say anything. He's right miserable git.
He's not very happy, is he?
He's never happy, but I kind of like what they've done with Tyrus. I mean, they've made him considering he was, the Funkasaurus, they've made him kind of credible in the fact that he just doesn't say a lot, just kind of stands behind EC3. I think the relationship that EC3's got with Tyrus is really good again. It's another area that I think TNA have done well in.
Absolutely. Was he not making fun of him for being the Funkasaurus? Is that not why he's miserable?
Probably. I'm just having a look at the card, and I'm just thinking, well, obviously this week we had announced Bobby Roode versus Lashley. That should be a good match. That should be something good to watch. But because it's only just been announced, it's kind of slipped under the radar. And I would say, this is meant to be for the King of the Mountain title. Why is the King of the Mountain title still here?
Well, that was the thing. Like, I don't think Rude's actually defended it, is he? Because he come out on Impact and he said, this is going to be the wrestling title, because people keep asking him what the title is. So he says it's going to be the wrestling title. And I thought he was going to go the Cena route, because he says, at Bound for Glory, he was issuing an open challenge to anyone in the back. But then it's a bit strange, because Lashley come out and he was like, I want to face you for that belt at Bound for Glory. It's like, why didn't you just answer the issue to the open challenge at Bound for Glory? You didn't have to come out and say it, but it made this match. I think at least it puts a match on the card in advance to kind of make people want to buy it. But it should be an amazing match based on what we've seen. Was it earlier this year when they were having that feud between them, or was that last year?
It was. I think it was last year. But Rude versus Lashley on paper is a really good match. It's just good for anything. It just befuddles me again. I don't understand this belt still. Do you understand this belt?
Not really. I guess with them saying that it's the wrestling title, it makes it. It's not something that's really got a specific point anymore. It's just the belt for up and coming wrestlers to prove themselves. And what I didn't also get was Lashley says that Rude was the top guy, and that belt proved that. And I was like, well, surely that's the whole point of the TNA title. So this belt does kind of seem out of place. It's no longer the TV title, where that had a meaning of being the title defended on TV each week. It's not a belt for a specific region. So it's it's a misplaced belt. It's just in there because I don't think they've got any other options in terms of the TV one kind of felt a bit downplayed being a TV belt.
That is the TV belt. The King of the Mountain belt is the TV belt. They haven't even rebranded the belt.
It is, but at the same time, it's not being mentioned as a TV belt. Where I feel that kind of devalues it, saying this is the TV version. This is your TV champion. It's not the real champion. It's just for telly. But I think.
But if you're calling him the wrestling champion, aren't you devaluing your world champion? Isn't he the king of wrestling? He's at the top. He's the king of the mountain.
that's kind of the point I'm trying to get across. Yeah, I think it needs to be really a specific kind of gimmick to it. It's not like X Division where it's for your cruiserweights and things. There's no sort of limits to this. It's just basically the same as your world championship. It's a second world championship, the way you had WWE's world championship and the WWE championship
without brands, basically.
Yeah, just one show.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. The match on paper, when I look at the card, it's not a bad card. You've got Tigre Uno, DJ Z. You've got an Ultimate X match to start things off. That sounds pretty good for me. Then I look on and I can see that we've got good tag team match going on again.
Hang on a second. Is Brian Myers the GFW guy?
Yes. They're still around for some reason.
That doesn't make any sense. I thought GFW had been removed from TNA.
They have, but they're still there.
Oh, it's good that they're giving GFW some time on the biggest pay-per-view of the year.
And the belts are on the line still. So if GFW win, they can take the belts again. So that doesn't make sense. But it should be a good match, but it doesn't make sense. Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong should be all right. Would rather see Taryn Terrell in there, but Gail Kim's a good wrestler. Awesome Kong.
Well, I've had some awesome matches in the past. I don't know if it'll live up to what they used to put on, but I think that'll be a great match anyway.
So that should be decent. And then we've got a massive match. What the hell is this? The Bound for Glory Gauntlet match.
That's the one I just mentioned with Tyrus in it?
Yeah, I see Tyrus right at the end. But this is a ridiculously big match with a lot of people in it. And so what we got? We got Abyss. I don't know. Who is Aiden O'Shea?
I don't know. I thought that was Shira and I'd like said his name wrong, but it's someone else. I'm not sure who he is.
We've got Chris Melendez, Eli Drake, Jesse Goddard, the man, stupid name. And then we got Mahabali Shira, yeah, Alan, yeah, we call him Alan, yeah, we got Alan on there, and we got Mr. Anderson, Robbie E, and we've got Tyrus. So we're gonna just put it out there now. Mr. Anderson's winning this one.
I say Tyrus wins it.
No,
especially if EC3 loses, and then Tyrus having that shot, then you can bring the title back to EC3.
So this is basically TNA's Money in the Bank match.
It kind of is. If you think if it works like Money in the Bank, then if EC3 gets a rematch, Tyrus can cash in, be like 2v1.
Interesting. Not a bad match again. Looking at the people that are in it.
My point though is, when does it take place? Because there's nothing booked for Impact for the next couple of weeks. Nothing taped for Wednesday. They've got no taping set.
Be on GFW, won't it?
It probably will.
And then obviously we've got Kurt Angle, Eric Young. That should be a good match. And then it kind of goes from there. I think all the top matches are not too bad. I think as a card, it's quite good. It's just not been built properly again. It's all been about the main event, and the main event changed last week. So
yeah, like I say, it's something that's been thrown together like pretty quick in terms of like Rude and Lashley, Angle and Young. That was only announced on Wednesday as well. And all the sort of JFW stuff, that kind of spoiled the whole build up to it, because we haven't had like proper build. We had the Revolution stuff that ended on Wednesday instead. You've got all this stuff with the Dollhouse and the Beautiful People, and that's not even on the card.
Yeah, TNA need to sort out their pay-per-view schedule. It's just really killing them. Like, you know, having these Impact shows that are supposed to be specials, it's not good. It doesn't work. They don't bill it enough. They don't even change the look of the arena to do it. So, you know, I've always said that for a long time, but I mean, I'm optimistic that something good will come out of Bound for Glory, but it's hard to see it when they're not, you know, they're not thinking smartly before going into the pay-per-view. So it doesn't think you're going to have a great outcome as well.
Maybe we could get an NXT invasion.
Maybe. And then Grado has to fight, you know, Grado. Because obviously, I think you're kind of building into what we was going to quickly talk about towards the end of We Talk this week was, you know, TNA and Grado, and then NXT and Finn Balor have come to a bit of a clash on Twitter, with Finn Balor doing the crotch chop outside TNA headquarters in Nashville, which led to Grado replying, I don't believe he was at WWE headquarters, but possibly.
I do.
He might have been. I don't know. Do you think so?
I think if you look at the reflection in the door, I'm sure that's Balor.
So it's just that, yeah, so he's invited him down to have a look round probably. But I mean, his response was, you know, doing a picture back. And then I think they did another one about UFC when CM Punk decided to poke his nose and make himself relevant again. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was great to see like two companies interacting, two guys that, you know, are both young within the industry. I thought it was really entertaining. I thought the way, though, that the Twitter sphere, or whatever you want to call it, decided to take an approach on it was just kind of pathetic. How people take things so personally and seriously. I mean, it was more. I think.
Hang on, before you say that,
what?
You do realise there's now a shot of Balor outside of Saturday night's main event doing the crotch chop.
Is he? What's he doing out there?
You've just been sent out on Twitter. You haven't seen it yet. Don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh,
but shots have been fired.
Fucker, he's meant to not still be around still. I've written him off. What's going on? Gonna have to go and sort this out.
It's all kicking off. The invasion's beginning.
I gotta go. I'll see you later. That was me just dropping my headset and running away.
Oh man, it's all kicking off now, isn't it? Invasions left, right, and centre.
Should have had the is it the Bugs Bunny thing with the noise?
I was going to say, have to fit that in there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was cool. But people were just so negative on like the funny thing that it was all the WWE heads that did it. I was like, everyone was like, oh, it's so cool that Finn Balor's decided to do it. When Grado does it, oh, you just fat. Oh, you can't wrestle. Oh, just fuck off. You know, just don't do that. Why have you got to go and start focusing on the person? Why can't you just respect that these two guys are having a bit of a laugh on Twitter? Then it comes back to how someone can't wrestle. I don't respect this guy. I don't like him. Oh, do one.
Well, people
That's
are
all I'll
always
say.
going to do that, though. Like, even I poked fun of it. I said it had more of an impact than the whole GFW invasion. And it kind of did from, like, the response on Twitter, like, the amount of retweets and people talking about it. Like, everyone was talking about that. And you had people like, oh, I don't know, NXT going to invade TNA? TNA could invade NXT? Is this going to happen?
Yeah, but your tweet was like had a bit of a joke to it. I'm talking about the people that just went direct to Grado, telling him he's shit and he can't wrestle and stuff. I was just like, oh, really? Are we gonna go there? Are we gonna be that naive and that pathetic to stoop to this level? I just can't understand the logic of fans sometimes. Why they do that? Why?
Welcome to the internet.
Why go at someone for having a bit of a laugh? Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the internet. It's insane. Insane.
It is, but like people always react like that, and you'll get the people that are like big fans of like one person or and not fans of the other, or big fans of WWE and they despise TNA just because it's competition, even if they don't watch it. It's just people like that, and I don't know. I kind of just ignore those kind of comments anyway. But you always get people that comment like that.
The thing that does my nut in about the Grado stuff is a lot of people just refer to Grado because they saw him in TNA, and it's just like, oh, you're really annoying. You know, you haven't even branched out to watch, like you haven't branched out to watch Grado anywhere else. So like, it's all like, oh well, he can't wrestle, he can't do this, he can't do that, and all he does is joke around all day. Just bear in mind that is his gimmick, you know. So it's part of his gimmick. That's what he's playing on. So you know, when he does the thing with the top rope, with the bum bag, he's taking the piss out of the Rock. That's part of his shtick, you know. That's that. But if you actually go and do a bit more research and you go and look at his time in ICW and see him wrestle Drew Galloway and a few matches he's had there, you know, he can do it when he needs to do it. When he needs to focus on it, there's another side to Grado, and ICW brings that out of him. But people are so quick to just be negative on somebody because he's not the look. He's not the Vince McMahon look for a guy. He's not Roman Reigns. Blah.
It's because it was Finn Balor though. Like if Santino had done the crotch chop, maybe it'd be like the same kind of reaction.
It just makes me laugh. And the thing that makes me laugh the most is Finn Balor and Grado are probably sitting there talking on Skype or something saying, can you believe these numpties taking the piss out of you, Grado, mate? You know, Finn Balor's probably saying that, thinking, can't believe some of the ridiculous comments that we got. But people will think that they're defending Finn Balor.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're just having a great laugh about it. I mean, I don't know how like the companies would feel about it. Like, would you be a bit annoyed if you were Triple H and you're seeing like this getting posted, or if you're TNA and you're seeing Grado like in the same kind of thing and someone's making fun of it, he's retweeting it?
I think for Grado and for TNA, it's been fantastic. It gets them on the radar, because a little while ago we were being told that TNA didn't exist. TNA was not a place when Sting went into obscurity. So a little while ago, this would not have been even on the talking point. For WWE, I would wonder if they were happy with Finn doing this, because you know, they don't like to acknowledge TNA. So
yeah, I'm sure like Triple H will be tweeting it. Like, oh, I've just seen a picture of their Finn Balor doing the DX chop outside of a building. Don't know where it was. Just totally like brush over the fact that there's a TNA logo there.
So that's
Crop it out.
That's the trouble. Like, you know, I don't know whether he'll get, you know, a little bit of a repercussion on it, but I mean, as I say to you, I mean, I find it a bit annoying that WWE tries to censor superstars a lot, telling them what they can and they can't do on their social media accounts. I mean, you have to have that element of freedom. I like the fact that we see the younger guys trying to do this. I like the fact that when we see in WWE, Sasha Banks and people tap into all the social trends and stuff, and the Big E and the New Day and stuff. I like that, and I find sometimes that WWE probably wouldn't like that. Unless it gets some good marketing. This one probably won't. This one probably doesn't do anything for them, but it does something for TNA. It makes them show that WWE knows they're around, regardless if they're taking the piss or not.
Yeah, I kind of see it from that like kind of aspect as well. I think it's just like good to see these two guys having a laugh and like showing that to friends anyway.
And that was it. And that is what it all was about, having a laugh, being friends. And as per usual, the internet drongos is trying to ruin it by making something that it really wasn't.
It was just like two friends having a laugh. That's all it was, and like that's good to see, in my opinion.
Exactly. Why does CM Punk call Grado Greedo?
I don't actually know.
Is it a dig?
Maybe it's a Star Wars reference.
I don't know. I think Punk's kind of in the same suit. I think he's mates with them all, so I think it's.
I would say it's a Star Wars reference in terms of like people saying hand shot first, Greedo shot first.
Right. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What? How can you not know that?
I don't know anything about Star Wars.
What?
It's not my element.
You've lost a ton of nerd points today.
It's not my ting. It's not my ting. I like Transformers and stuff like that. I'm not on the Star Wars bandwagon.
Get out.
What?
Get out of your own show.
I'm like the G1 kind of guy, the Transformers side. That would just crush all of you guys. Decepticons, Autobots could take down Star Wars. Easy.
Oh, man, I hope you get a load of hate in these comments for not liking Star Wars.
Ooh, that's rude. How rude.
Everyone likes Star Wars.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just never really bothered to watch it.
You never bothered to watch it?
I just see it on sometimes and think, it's on.
Have you watched it?
On and off.
This is shocking.
I'm not L.
You're sitting there watching your Batman and Superman thinking, oh, this movie is the shiz. And you didn't even watch Star Wars.
Yeah. That's what I do. That's what I do.
I bet you'd watch it if Michael Bay produced it.
I probably wouldn't watch it after Michael Bay produced it because he's just ruining my favourite franchise.
Poor Transformers.
It is that. If you, that's a different conversation.
You can talk about it like when you speak to like Mid-Card Push. I hear you doing something with him.
Should be doing something with Mid-Card Push, and we should be talking about other things. So maybe that becomes a topic. I don't know though. That puts me into rant territory if I start talking about Michael Bay. Can't talk about much about Michael Bay. I liked him originally when he did the first one, and then he just kept taking the piss with one more explosion too many.
One more explosion too many? Like a few thousand explosions too many?
Well, there you go. That's what the problem is. But anyway, that's a different talk for a different time. Last but not least, there's a couple more things we want to quickly touch on before we sign out. The first one being Eva Marie has injured Carmella, so that kind of brings us round to what we talked about last week, where we just said that this could end in disaster, and it has.
It has, tragically. Do you want to explain what happened? Because this was like a live event last night.
Well, yeah, a couple of people tweeted me the details, and I also saw it on some wrestling websites, and it says that, Carmella was injured during a match with Eva Marie at the NXT house show in Nashville, so obviously that's where the crotchy chop came. According to fans in attendance, Eva kicked Carmella in the head, and the referee put up the X sign signifying an injury. Carmella was then helped away with the referee. So the trainers, everyone was around the ring, so it doesn't sound that good. Sounds like probably could be a concussion or something like that. But we had mentioned before that Eva, as much as she's improved when she works with Brian Kendrick, she's not transferring that stuff into the ring when she's doing it at shows. I heard that the fans were chanting "just retire" or something like that after she did it. So they really did give it a lot of stick when they saw that Carmella had to be like carried out. It just builds more animosity towards her. It's just showing again that she's still really green and that she's not adjusting to what she needs to. Is it time to bite the bullet? I don't think they will, because I think they just love this whole total diva stuff of her bigging herself up that she's going to be a superstar one day. But if she can't do it, she can't do it. You have to just, you have to say, sorry, you can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of how things are going, we like foreseen this last week when we say someone's going to get injured, like the way she's going. And I think a lot of it is, yes, I'm sure I said this last week, but in terms of her training with Kendrick, she might be getting better and better, but actually transferring that to being in the ring, being at a live event where you're surrounded by the crowd and you've got to kind of put all that behind you and sort of not focus on what the crowd's doing. Maybe like that's something that's just affected her and she can't really concentrate because of that. And going straight into WWE in these huge house show events, it's not like someone that's just starting out and they go through like all these indie shows and like small events with like a small crowd and then kind of get used to the crowd being there, the atmosphere, people shouting things. It's not going to throw you off your game. By the time you get WWE, you're kind of used to it. Where Eva going out there doing this training separate in a room with Kendrick, no one there to kind of throw off her game, and then she goes out there in front of all these people. I think it's a lot to take in, and it's no surprise that she kind of handle it. And when you think the move that she's injured her with being a kick, it's something that it's one of the simplest things you can kind of do. It's something that you should always be in control of. And I just think this is like a sign that Eva really cannot cope with this. She kind of do it. And like you say, I think unfortunately for the rest of the Divas roster, they're going to continue to push her just because of Total Divas. And I think it's completely wrong.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much sums it all up. To be honest with you, it's just that you've got to at some point step away from it and see what else you can do with her. Is there anything they can do with her? Probably, but
fire her.
You say that, but I don't know. I think there are other areas she could work in, but it's just they need to work out what they're going to do. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to have to cut your ties with her. So I don't see them doing it. I think Vince is well high on her for some reason. So there you go. But I
think the management route's the only thing like I could really see. Maybe like Ziggler can pick her up.
I mean, the issue is the main issue is you have to go back to all of this, and you have to say the person that's least benefited from this is just having Carmella in this feud. So she's really been shot to shit with all of this. So maybe they should take a minute to step back and look at Carmella and think to themselves, look what we've done here. We've messed this up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's come off she has really come off really badly for it. It's her self-own character and that going up against Eva Marie and sort of getting thrown under the bus like this. It's not great for Carmella, especially when she was like so over with the crowd and things. She's kind of someone that should have really been pushed in place of Eva.
Yeah, totally. So it's disappointing.
It is. It's very disappointing. But like I say, we kind of seen it coming.
Exactly. We did indeed. Now, the last bit of We Talk this week. Prediction for the Iron Woman match on NXT. Who are you going for? Sasha Banks or Bayley?
I'm going to go with Bayley. I think she's going to continue this new reign.
You think Bayley, do you?
I do think Bayley. Do you think different?
No, not really. I think Bayley will win, but I think it'll be a good match. I'd like Sasha Banks to win, but I don't see it working with her stepping up. So I think it makes it kind of obvious.
It does, but I wouldn't say it completely rules out. I would still say I win the title. We've had Owens go back and face for the title anyway. So I'm sure there'll be a point where they do think, everyone's going to say just because this person's on the main roster, they can't now win the title. And I think they'll kind of throw a curveball where they do actually win it. But I don't think this will be the time. I think this is still Bayley's time.
I agree, and I think that is the case. I think it will be a really good match on the night. I don't think they'll take as many risks as they did before in Brooklyn, but nevertheless, I think it's going to be epic, and it's definitely one to watch for Takeover. So I'm glad that it's getting the billing that it deserves, and can't wait. Something on the card that WWE are doing right, NXT.
Absolutely, it's something that we haven't seen as well, like an Iron Man match for quite a long time. So I think these two, the match that they put on last time and all the matches that they have put on over the last year or two, it just sets up for what should be an absolutely amazing match. And they did a great video on NXT this week and on the network where it shows them kind of preparing for it. Because it's completely different to kind of prepare for this and know that you're going to have to go for 30 minutes?
I think it's 30 minutes.
Yeah, for 30 minutes compared to a regular match, which is 15 minutes or so.
It's going to be good. Like I say, these two can definitely go. So I don't think the time limit's really an issue for them. I think they'll be fully up for the challenge, up for the task. And yeah.
I think it'll be really close. I think we'll be tied going in the last few seconds. And then it'll come down to that.
Or they're going to go for the stealer at the end.
Well, they could even have a tie, couldn't they? Being an Iron Woman match.
It could. I think the champion retains the belt if they do that. Or do they go into overtime?
Generally, the title stays with the champion, so they would retain it. But I think being NXT, they would go longer, and then they can always say, we've done this, we wrestled the Iron Woman match, and we went longer, we went a step further, because this is NXT, and that's where you go further.
Gotcha. It's going to be good. I can't wait. That is something I am positive about. That is something that I am really looking forward to be honest with you.
Absolutely. No sign of Eva on the card.
That's even better for you then.
Absolutely.
So, any shameless plugs as we bring We Talk to a close this week, Smack Talks?
Well, we've had quite a lot of 2K16 news coming out this week. So if you want to check out the Smack Talks channel, we've been covering all of that. And if you're enjoying the new season of Doctor Who, then you can check out the second episode of TARS Talk with myself and Elle. So that's up on the second channel, Smack Talks Extra. So make sure to check that out.
Yeah, definitely do. Go check out all the stuff that Smack Talks has to offer on his current channel and his second channel. He's got plenty of stuff there, plenty of content. For
Maybe
you
a
guys.
third channel in the works.
Really?
Maybe. We'll see.
Jeez, how much content have you got?
Well, there's a lot.
Well, there's a lot.
With 2K16 just weeks away, there's going to be a lot more.
Yeah, you might need to have just a channel on its own for that one.
Well, that's the Smack Talks channel.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, got that wrong. Yeah, I mean, for myself, obviously we've got Saturday Night Main Event, plenty of stuff, plenty of fallout from Night of Champions, so check that out. Hopefully be able to bring you guys some details of what happened at the Sting meet and greet. Yeah, should be really good week. And I might be dropping a couple of other little videos, but I'm seeing how it goes. So yeah, busy.
Sounds good, especially the Sting thing. Remember, big questions.
I know. I'll have a think. Today and tomorrow, and then yeah.
Maybe people can like submit questions in the comments, and you can see if you get any good ones.
Yeah, do let me know some questions. Obviously, I don't know how the question and answer thing will work. Whether or not you'll get like an allocated time or anything like that, or whether you just one question went out. But let me know anyway. I can take them forward, can't I? So yeah.
Did you see the vote they had on WWE.com about Sting's next match if he was to return for one more match?
No, what did they do?
Well, when Sting did that interview last week, I think we briefly covered it on We Talk, and he said if he was going to wrestle one more match, you would have to really think about it, and it would have to be the right person. So like a day or so after that, WWE posted a poll, and it was listing all potential superstars that Sting could go up against if he had one more match. Mm-hmm. Top of that list, The Undertaker, and when you view the results, it was pretty much 90% The Undertaker. So it's there, everyone's wanting it. They just have to go through with it. Sting wants it. You'll have to ask him if he still wants that match. And, you know, why are they not booking it? Why are they putting it off?
Yeah, if they keep hinting at it, then it would lead me to believe it's in the pipeline. Like I said, though, they have to really think about how they're going to build it because they've done enough damage to make it not be worth building. So...
And who's going to win it?
Yeah, and it's like I say, it's a difficult one. You can't tell me that you just think that's the right thing just to have Sting take another loss, but then you're going to let Taker for two. It just way too difficult for what they've done. But
my question for Sting would be: would you go through with this match against The Undertaker if it was your last match and you knew that you were going to lose it and that you never had a big win on pay-per-view in WWE?
Yeah, but that's a bit of a harsh question to ask, isn't it?
It is, but that's the questions you need to ask, man. What are you even going to this Q&A for? You're going to ask him what he had for breakfast?
Don't know. That's the sort of question that you asked Wade Barrett, though.
Well, he'd have had bananas, obviously. You've been a Banana Man fan.
There you go. See, yeah. Saved that one up. Bang. Anyway, that kind of draws us to a close. See, shots fired, fire them straight back.
Shots fired all over the place.
It brings us to an end of another We Talk. Let us know via the comment section below if you have got any questions for Sting. Keep them nice. And yeah, are you gonna catch us later?
Catch you later.
Cool. This is Delzinski and Smack Talks signing out.
Hi, wrestling fans and gamers. Velvet Sky here, and I just want to say I've been hearing a rumor that Delzinski.com is the best place for video gaming and wrestling content.